Hey, what's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. Today's video is on introverted thinking, TI. Thinking is a judging function, just like feeling is, and it helps you decide what you should do. It helps you make decisions. It's not about gathering information in a sense and like viewing the world sensory or abstract wise, but it's thinking about how should you approach the situation. So thinking itself is objective, it's logical, it's detached from emotions, it's looking at like the empirical data to make decisions. And then an introverted function is brought inward, using your own personal experiences and your own personal understanding of what a thing is. So put them together and you have introverted thinking as a personalized, kind of subjective approach based on your own personal experiences and an understanding of what a thing is, detached from emotions, using technical understanding and kind of logical understanding in that sense, void of those emotions that cloud the picture. So breaking it down a little bit more, introverted thinking likes a holistic understanding. So what I mean by that is you look at something, for example, like a gun. You look at a gun, a pistol, take it apart. You see how all the different little pieces work within it. Okay, how this one part affects another part and just how the whole puzzle is. And then you put it back together. So you have an understanding, you have a holistic understanding of that, what that is. Then you can use that to understand other similar models. Like if you understood how a pistol works, now you probably understand how like a rifle works, a different gun. It might not be exactly the same, but it's similar enough and you have this holistic understanding of how the things work. Now this could be like with trees or anything too. Like you see a tree, you figure out what kind of tree it is, right? What kind of fruit it bears, where it grows, and then you have an understanding of how other trees work. And then other living organisms too. Kind of just that big, broad, holistic understanding, using elements of each piece to get an understanding of the larger picture. And then using that as kind of leverage to make correct choices. I say correct instead of right because I guess feeling is more about the right choice, the morally right choice. There's a nuance in there, right? But correct is the accurate choice. And speaking of accuracy, introverted thinking is all about taking information and classifying it and defining it and then categorizing it. Figure out what the thing is, get this accurate, real, definition of what it is, and then putting that into the larger picture. I have an ENTP friend, and he was talking to one of my Canadian friends. And the Canadian friend was saying something about Boxing Day, a holiday. And the ENTP goes, wait. I need to understand, I need to know the etymology of this word. You don't understand. I need this. Like, he specified it like that. I need this. He needs to know where this word came from so he can feel this kind of closure and put that piece where it belongs. And that's something that is very important to introverted thinkers, to be able to correctly place information where it needs to be and where it belongs, and then looking through that to make sure that it's in the right place. If that information is not in the right place, then it needs to be kind of delved into further so that the TI can get a better understanding of what it is and place it where it needs to be. I mean, there's the chance that the category itself is flawed, is wrong, and then they need to rework that categorization. that model of understanding. But especially with dominant functions and dominant introverted thinkers, you can assume that the category and the information is correct within their understanding because they spend so much time focusing on that. Whatever you spend every day, like almost all day doing, you're going to be amazing at it. You're going to have that mastery time. You're going to know exactly what to do. But like the lower down in the function stack that introverted thinking is, for example, the more flawed your categorization and definitions and classifications are going to be. Probably. Unless you spend more time on that. Kind of gets jumbled up in there. But basically what you focus on, you're going to get better at, right? So assume that introverted thinkers are properly doing their job. And it's not just accuracy, it's also inaccuracy. It's like finding the flaw in the diamond and kind of polishing that out, right? Back to that ENTP friend of mine, we were talking about video games, as we do, and we were talking about League of Legends. In League of Legends, there's a character called Graves. He has a shotgun. You can also buy skins, different models to change the appearance of the character if you don't know. So we were talking about it, and he's like, wait, Graves uses a shotgun, but his Mafia skin uses a Tommy gun. How does that work? Like, still, shotgun bullets come out in a spread, but it's a Tommy gun. How does that work? Like, that is kind of introverted thinking in its essence, right? Trying to figure out how a thing works based on what's going on. And then if it doesn't make sense within your own model of understanding, based on your experiences and all the information that you've gathered, then it needs to be figured out. Because you can't have that mysterious lack of clarity. So going into the RPG sense of this, I think of introverted thinkers as Arcanists. These Arcanists are absorbing information, absorbing arcane power from around them, bringing it in, internalizing it, letting it like surge and pulse and getting ready to expel it, to cast it, right? And the more information, the more arcane power you have, and the better your understanding of that, the larger, the deeper your resource pool is. The more resources you have, the more you can do, the more spells you can cast. So these Arcanists are like the pinnacle of magical power and thinking. You can kind of stereotype it. If you think of like the wise mage locked in their tower by themselves, usually. They put themselves in that tower to study, to analyze, to categorize, to define, to clarify, all this stuff. Introverted thinkers' brains are actually wired to be able to shut out the outside world and to go in and try to piece together that information, to get that understanding of it. And then they step out of that tower and are able to use that information in the real world. Pretty cool. So a couple things about these Arcanists now. Solo questing, they prize independence. Introverted thinkers have this self-taught, usually understanding of how a thing works. And they have the correct ideas of how to approach that. So a lot of times it's more efficient, it's better for them to just do it themselves, to do it their own way, because other people probably don't spend as much time analyzing things in that same way. So they're okay with being independent. And they actually like doing that. But, I mean, of course, there are group quests too. Everybody has both sides of this. But, you know, sticking with how you want to do things and your own understanding of the world works really well for introverted thinkers. Introverted feelers too. Another idea is power hungry. And this power hungry is this desire to just absorb all this empirical data, right? Just to take it all in, just absorb more and more power and analyze it and categorize it like we've been talking about. You just crave more and more information. A couple of the spells are Amplify Magic. Amplify Magic is finding that one piece of information that just fits and illuminates the whole thing, just makes it so powerful. You just have that one idea now that all the pieces are together. And you can use that as leverage to make correct decisions. Another spell is Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is seeing things for how they are, accurately, correctly, and being able to illuminate that for other people. Introverted thinkers are not really going to beat around the bush and try to protect somebody's feelings if that information that they're talking about is wrong. They're going to be like, that's not correct. You're just making stuff up. Or actually, this is the correct information. Let me give that to you. Let me enlighten you with that. Radical honesty is another thing. Just saying how things are. Don't think of that as a bad thing, please. Just think of it as this is how introverted thinkers give their gift, in a sense, by telling people what is true based on so many hours of studying it. Another spell is Remove Corruption. Remove Corruption is looking at something, kind of like what I explained before, finding that flaw, polishing it out, removing that bleed, that debuff, and just seeing how you can get rid of inaccuracies in order to make the information accurate and correct. And another one is Spellsteal. Spellsteal is absorbing somebody else's ability, taking somebody else's ability, information, and using it as your own. Kind of taking that model of understanding, working with it, and now it becomes your own thing that you can use to approach the world, to make decisions. Anything else? One thing, as I talked about in introverted feeling, introverted feelers look for authenticity, congruence of self, and they use that as their decision-making style, right? Does this feel right to me? Is this the morally correct thing to do? Introverted thinkers are similar to that. It's looking to that congruent, real, accurate data and using that as the correct choice for how to approach something. So that's about it for this video. The next video, the last one on the cognitive functions, is extroverted thinking. Stay tuned for that. Learn about some geomancers. And good luck, have fun. I hope this was helpful in some way. If it was, comment below, like, subscribe, share, help me out. And hopefully we can take over the world together by helping people understand who they are and how they interact with the world. So thanks for watching. Good luck, have fun. See ya. I don't know what this is. Peace.